Volkswagen closing factories, Galeria, Karstadt, Kaufhof barely hanging on, Bosch laying off workers. It feels like Germany's economic engine is, well, sputtering.
Yeah.
And this isn't some sudden shock, is it?
No, not at all.
It seems like it's the result of decades of kind of postponed reforms. And it's all coming back to bite them.
Yeah, what's really striking is that it's not like Germany lacks talent or potential,
Yeah.
right? I mean, they've got this incredible history of world-class engineering,
Right.
a strong R&D base, and then you've got these, what are they called? The hidden champions?
Oh, yeah.
Dominating all these niche markets globally.
Right.
But the world has changed.
Yeah.
And the AI revolution.
It's changing everything.
Yeah, it really is.
And I think even these traditional industries, even the giants like your Bosches and your DKVs of the world, they're feeling the heat, whether they realize it or not.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah.
It's like they hit the snooze button on adapting to the digital age, and now the alarm is blaring.
Yeah, exactly.
And the thing is, it's not just about digitalization.
Right.
You've got high energy costs, a carbon-heavy industrial sector, and a really slow adoption of, things like the circular economy.
Yeah.
These issues have been simmering for years, and it's not just a German problem either.
Right. It's a global problem.
Exactly. Think about the supply chains for everything from, well, I mean, you mentioned cars, but electronics.
Yeah. It ripples.
It all ripples outward.
Okay, so it sounds like Germany's at a pretty critical crossroads.
Oh, absolutely.
What can they do about it?
Well, that's where Elias Kouloures and his 10-year roadmap comes in.
Okay.
It's really a bold vision, this roadmap. It's all about transforming Germany into a global leader.
Okay.
In innovation and sustainability.
So what's the core idea here? What's he trying to do with this roadmap?
Essentially, Kouloures is proposing a complete system upgrade for Germany. It's about shifting away from, from being a powerhouse of traditional industry and moving towards becoming a leader in the technologies and practices that are going to define the next decade and beyond. So think green technologies, cutting-edge AI, a society that is built on, social innovation.
Okay, I'm intrigued. So his roadmap is built on 4 key pillars.
Right.
Environmental excellence, technology leadership, social innovation, and industrial evolution.
Exactly.
So let's break those down a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
Starting with, let's say, environmental excellence.
Sure.
What is that all about?
So each pillar addresses, a critical aspect of this transformation. Environmental excellence, it really focuses on making Germany a global leader in sustainable practices,
right,
from green energy to circular economies. It's about addressing those high energy costs and, the carbon footprint you were talking about earlier.
So not just catching up, but actually being like the gold standard.
Exactly. Then you have technology leadership. This is about pushing Germany to the forefront of innovation, especially in fields like AI and quantum computing, where they've fallen behind a bit.
Yeah.
It's about Germany not just competing with Silicon Valley, but actually becoming, a hub for those technologies themselves.
Now that would be a game changer.
Yeah.
What about the social side of things?
Right. Well, that's where social innovation comes in. Kouloures understands that technology alone isn't enough.
Right.
You need a society that's prepared for these changes and can actually use technology for good. So this pillar, it's about addressing social challenges with innovative solutions,
Sure,
whether that's in education or healthcare or creating a more equitable society,
So it's not just about building the cool gadgets. It's about using them to actually build a better future for everyone.
Absolutely.
Got it.
And finally, you have industrial evolution. This is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Especially for, those companies we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
It's about transforming Germany's manufacturing and industrial base to be competitive in this new era. So imagine factories powered by AI, production lines that are optimized for sustainability, and a workforce that's equipped with the skills of the future.
Okay, so we've got the 4 pillars, and it sounds like a pretty ambitious overhaul.
It is.
But where do we even begin with something this massive? Let's dive into some of the specific strategies within each pillar.
Let's start with environmental excellence.
Okay.
Because addressing climate change and transitioning to a greener economy, I mean, that's really at the core of this roadmap.
Right.
And one of the most interesting strategies here is what Kouloures calls the green industry platform.
Okay, green industry platform.
Let's talk.
What is, is that where we see companies like Volkswagen kind of reinventing themselves?
It's actually bigger than any single company.
Okay.
Imagine using AI to optimize energy management
Hmm.
across entire industrial sectors, right?
Okay.
Think about factories actually sharing waste products,
Oh,
using them as resources for other factories.
oh,
It's like
right.
creating these symbiotic relationships
Yeah.
where one company's output actually becomes another's input.
Right.
That's industrial symbiosis, and it could drastically reduce, waste and emissions.
That's a really cool idea, almost like nature's own recycling system, but applied to industry. How
Exactly.
would that work in practice?
Okay, so imagine a chemical plant,
Okay.
and it produces, excess heat as a byproduct.
Yeah.
Instead of just venting that heat into the atmosphere, they could pipe it to a nearby agricultural facility that needs that heat, for greenhouses.
Oh.
Or a brewery could send its spent grain to a bakery to be used in bread. You see, so Coolers, he envisions AI helping to identify these kinds of partnerships
Right.
and then facilitate them,
Sure.
creating like a much more efficient and sustainable industrial ecosystem.
So it's not about optimizing individual companies, it's about optimizing the entire system.
Exactly.
But wouldn't that require, like, a massive amount of coordination and cooperation between companies?
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's a big ask.
It is, and that's why Coolores, he really emphasizes the importance of building these, what he calls industrial symbiosis networks.
Okay.
So it's about creating platforms where companies can connect, share data, and identify those potential synergies.
Hmm.
It's also about government incentives and regulations,
Right.
right, that actually encourage this kind of collaboration.
Okay, so that's how we're making industry greener and more efficient. But how do we get Germany back on track in terms of, actually developing cutting-edge technology,
Right.
especially in a field like AI where, the pace of development is so rapid?
Yeah, that's a good question. And that's where the technology leadership pillar comes in. And one of the key strategies here is it's called the DeepTech Accelerator Program.
Okay.
And this is all about fostering innovation in these really game-changing fields like AI, quantum computing, biotechnology.
You mentioned this 10 billion euro fund earlier. Is that part of this program?
It is, yeah. Couleurs proposes creating this massive fund
Login.
specifically for deep tech startups and research projects.
Hmm.
But it's not just about throwing money at the problem, right?
Right.
He also wants to create what he calls regulatory sandboxes.
What are those?
So these are spaces where companies can experiment
Okay.
with new technologies without being bogged down by bureaucracy.
So it's like giving them a safe space to play and innovate before they have to, deal with all the red tape.
Exactly, yeah. And then to accelerate the adoption of these technologies, he also proposes establishing what he calls rapid prototyping centers
Okay.
across Germany. And this would allow companies to quickly turn ideas into tangible products and services.
It sounds like he's really trying to inject like a Silicon Valley style energy into the German economy.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But what about quantum computing? I mean, that still feels so futuristic to me. How does that fit into this roadmap?
Well, that's where the quantum-ready industrial base strategy comes in.
Well,
Couleurs sees quantum computing as a potential game changer
hmm.
for German industry, and he wants to make sure that Germany is ready to harness its power.
Okay, I'm all for being prepared, but how realistic is that? I mean, isn't Germany already behind, countries like the US and China when it comes to quantum computing?
It's true, Germany does have some catching up to do,
Yeah.
but Couleurs believes that Germany can leverage its strengths, in engineering and manufacturing
Hmm.
to become a leader in the application of quantum computing,
Okay.
even if they're not the ones building the actual quantum computers themselves.
So they might not be the pioneers, but they can be the ones who figure out how to actually put it to work.
Precisely.
Interesting.
Imagine German manufacturers using quantum computing to design completely new materials
Okay.
with properties that were previously impossible, or using quantum algorithms to optimize production processes. I mean, like at an atomic level,
Wow.
leading to unprecedented levels of efficiency.
I'm starting to see the potential here.
Mm-hmm.
But, all this high-tech innovation, it can sound a bit intimidating, I think, especially for those who might feel left behind by these rapid changes.
Yeah, I think that's a valid point.
So how does Couleurs address that in his roadmap?
Yeah, I mean, how do we make sure that everyone benefits from this, this technological revolution? That's a crucial point, and I think Kouloures really addresses that in those two pillars, the social innovation and the industrial evolution. They kind of go hand in hand. Take the future skills platform, for example. Kouloures proposes using AI not just for, factory automation, but also for forecasting future workforce needs.
Okay.
So imagine a system that's constantly analyzing the job market, identifying emerging skills gaps,
Mhm.
and then providing like personalized learning pathways for individuals
Okay.
to actually acquire those skills.
So it's like having a personalized career GPS guiding people toward the jobs of the future.
Exactly. And this links directly to, industrial evolution because as companies embrace AI and automation, the workforce needs to adapt, right?
Right.
So think of like micro-credentialing programs that give workers specific skills, very quickly,
Uh,
or lifelong learning accounts that individuals can use to fund their own reskilling
oh, interesting.
throughout their careers.
Okay, yeah, that's a really proactive approach. It seems like a lot of countries are just scrambling to react to job displacement.
Hmm.
But this is about getting ahead of the curve.
Exactly.
But what about those who might face barriers to accessing these opportunities?
Right. Well, that's where the social mobility accelerator comes
Okay.
in. It's about creating a more inclusive economy, one where everyone has a chance to succeed regardless of their background.
Right.
So Kouloures suggests, for example, implementing skills-based hiring frameworks,
Okay.
that focus on what someone can actually do rather than just their degrees or past experience.
Right, right.
He also proposes entrepreneurship education programs,
Mhm.
especially for, communities that have been traditionally underrepresented in the tech sector.
So it's like building an ecosystem of support,
Yeah,
not just throwing technology at the problem and hoping for the best.
exactly. That's the key takeaway here. Kouloure's roadmap, it isn't just about making Germany a technological powerhouse.
Mhm.
It's about creating a society that's ready for the future, a society that's both innovative and equitable.
That's great. I mean, this whole roadmap is incredibly ambitious.
It is.
But what's the ultimate goal here? What does success actually look like for Germany if all of this works?
Kouloures envisions Germany regaining its position as a global economic leader,
Okay.
but in a new way.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine Germany being known not just for cars and manufacturing, but for, as the go-to place for green technologies,
Right.
advanced AI applications,
Mm.
innovative social solutions.
So setting the standard for a new kind of economy, one that's, sustainable, inclusive, and technologically advanced.
Precisely. And the impact wouldn't be limited to Germany, right?
Right.
I mean, if they can pull this off, it could create this ripple effect
Yeah.
globally, inspiring other countries to follow suit and demonstrating that, a thriving economy and a thriving society, they can go hand in hand.
It's a powerful vision, and it's a really timely one. We're living in a world facing, you know, some pretty significant challenges: climate change, economic inequality, rapid technological advancements that are, both exciting and a little unsettling. This roadmap offers a potential path forward, not just for Germany, but I think for all of us.
It's a reminder that, we have the power to shape the future, to actually build a world that's more sustainable, more equitable, more prosperous. And that starts with bold ideas and a willingness to embrace change.
Well said. This deep dive into Elias Kouloures' 10-year roadmap has been incredibly insightful, and I encourage everyone listening to explore his work further.
Yeah.
You can find him at eliaskouloures.com. And remember, the future isn't something that just happens to us. It's something that we create together.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll see you next time.